past 8 weeks has been starting off with a lot of hysteria, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of confusion, and unfortunately that led to a lot of taking advantage of this community. So you have people that want to help and truly want to help these families and with all good intentions, but go into it kind of more stoking the fears of them in a sense to help, whether that is to try and tug at the heartstrings of others that maybe look at this population different, or to try and motivate this population to do something different to change their situation. But regardless, they're kind of taking advantage of the whole political sphere of things and kind of using them as pawns, even though they have good intentions. Then you have the other side of it, which has always existed, where it's very easy to take advantage of people that are scared, not educated, and don't have access to proper sources of information. So they're heavily preyed upon by people that will, for either financial reasons or maybe because there's even a more sinister type of, intent there, to hurt people. But whatever, it happens. And that's from people in their own community, their own family members at times. When it's so easy to take advantage of people, unfortunately, the human quality is people do it. Yeah. Because it can be done so easily. I mean, there's actual things where people will be like, people set up shop and maybe like, we can get you a document that will help you become legal, even though such document doesn't happen, or we can give you a document to keep your children safe if something happens to you, which again, such document really exists, but people take advantage of that, or people control the conversation as things are getting translated. Instead of translating directly and educating, they might be putting in their own information and changing the context. And I've seen that happen. That's the more extreme, which doesn't happen as it happens, but very common. And then you hear all the stories of people just kind of hinting at, well, if you don't do that, immigration might come, or if again, maybe that's with good intentions, or maybe it's with sin. If you don't do this for me, or if you don't do that right, or every little hint, if you don't pay a little bit more for rent, or if you don't do this, I don't know what might happen, right? You just kind of insinuate that and tease that fear, and you get, again, a population that's scared, uneducated, and has real threats. I mean, it's, again, a little word, a little hint can change how they make decisions and what they do. And unfortunately, it puts their family at risk. And in some cases, it benefits people that are not, with doing what they should be doing to help this community. So when we talk about recent changes, the reality is there's no laws have been changed or rewritten. No one has looked at this issue and addressed it in terms of win-wins, or how do we move beyond this and get going with keeping our community safe and fighting terrorism and all these other things. We're kind of stuck on this. We don't want this particular type of person in my community, which whichever path you throw, it comes down to racial discrimination is what it really comes to. We try now, lots of groups will say, well, illegal is illegal, a crime is a crime, they're criminals. So that kind of helps people, I guess, justify their racial discrimination, so they don't even have to talk about race. They talk it in terms of fact of law. But then my response is, are you an immigration judge? Are you an immigration attorney? Do you understand immigration law? Do you know why immigration law is different from criminal law? There's reasons, right? It's because we can't make that judgment call. An immigration judge can't. It reached its maximum, obviously, the first week, that first executive order. The executive order was very unclear, really didn't touch any policy, really didn't give any direction to anybody. It could still be interpreted in any way you want it to be interpreted type of writing, which led to more confusion. and people kind of reacting but not really knowing what they're reacting to yet. And I think now it's calmed down substantially. Now we know that's only until the next statement, the next order.
So when you look at let's take that once a week incident, radically different from what it was 4 years ago?
No.
No.
But that doesn't help my clients feel any better. Me saying it's always been this way doesn't change the anxiety level.
So the people that are selected, you are connected with the services you're provided. That person is removed. Or the family's removed, or just one person?
Just one person.
Okay.
So again, this is why we're living in the reality of today. Now, we also live in the reality where tomorrow, everything could change, because there's no clarity, there's no clear message that's coming from any agency. It's just kind of, we don't know. The town of Easton has released a statement, a formal statement. It designates itself as a welcoming city, and that comes also because in the executive order, though it didn't change any laws, it highlighted a part of the immigration law that says local agents, local police officers, local authorities, state and local, can voluntarily act as immigration officials and report or detain people that they believe are here without documentation. Now, the key word there is voluntarily, not ordered to. You don't have to do it. So what sanctuary movements are doing is saying, well, if it's up to us as a town, our town is deciding to not participate in any of these activities. We will participate in our day-to-day public safety. So if the FBI or if the CIA or if the immigration sends us an order to do something, well, that's our day-to-day business. We work with them to complete. If they don't send us anything, we don't go out of our way to do their work. So that's been the reaction to him highlighting this part of the law, and then also through his rhetoric, the kind of threatening towns that if they don't help, they'll be punished. And that's kind of started, many towns do it for more political reasons than community safety reasons. When we sat with the chief of police and the mayor and the town council to go over this, we never addressed it as a political issue. We addressed it as our family issues, and making sure that street stays healthy, gets healthier. We know places are hurting now. Making sure that the children feel safer at night or know who to turn to. So we felt that by issuing that statement, it's not a political statement, it's a statement addressing the real fear that many, again, we're not talking a handful, we're talking many families here experience now continually and every day. So this is kind of our first step to let them know that our police force just deals with Easton. We don't deal with other issues, and dealing with any ordinance or dealing with any parking ticket or dealing with any. Again, this is about town safety, and we won't participate in detaining people for the sake of papers or no papers. It's not our job. If immigration comes and does that, fine. That's between immigration and that person. Us as a community, we need to make sure that while they're here or while they're going through a process, they still have access and are healthy and are safe until that, up until whatever decision that judge makes and after. It's funny, as we've been doing a lot of cultural competency training with different agencies, before we even start talking about immigrants and migrants and people in our community that are different. One of the things a lot of these cultural competency groups are talking about is their change of opinion of opioid use. Seeing how they were talking openly about that and their change on how, easily 20 years ago, you even mentioned heroin, it's prison. They're criminals, they're not humans, it's their choice, they made this terrible choice, they need to pay the rest of their lives for it. And as I hear people talk about it, and how, yeah, they can all kind of come to terms with how they used to think that way. But now that it's no longer just some person I have no connection with on a street that I've never even walked down, now that it's in my community, now there's people that I actually know their name, my opinion has instantly changed from, no, it should not be criminalized, it should be, treat as an issue, and we should help the illness.
Yeah.
So as I bring up the immigration topic, it kind of parallels that, whereas it's very, very easy to point at someone that you have no connection with, don't understand, don't care, not my problem, throw them in jail, criminalize it, illegal is illegal, and that's the end of discussion. Whereas now, as when you can humanize it, and you can see a child, and you can see a mother, and you see a father that works 50 hours a week, and you see them doing everything they can, then it's like, okay, are we looking at this issue as punishment is the only way to resolve this? And my firm belief is no. Obviously, we have to have laws, and we have to control who comes in and out. But this issue can can be resolved. It might take some time because you got to, like the opioid crisis. But when you start looking at it differently, like, okay, how do we resolve this rather than how do we punish our way? And because the more you punish people, it's not going to fix the core issues of what's happening with them.